Grand Rising to Mama Bees. Good morning, Sharon Gobble, everyone that has come in for the Survivor Live. This won't even be a recap. I'm so annoyed with this episode, even though I knew what was going to happen. It might turn into another rant. Anyone that's watched it, of course, I will read your comments and we can give the feedback on there. And I already have my banner scrolling, so we know this is a Copyright Act of 1976, fair use, and everyone's speaking to each other in the chat. Please check the like button as you come in. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And this was another episode that was really frustrating. Another episode that was really frustrating. There are strong players on this season. I will not take that away from them. But the problem is when you have a runaway player like a Joe. I'm not even going to include Eva. Eva is being dragged along by Joe. She's a strong two with him, but it's not fun to watch. It really is not. Okay, this is Survivor season 48, episode 11, Coconut Etiquette. And they call it Coconut Etiquette, which is really funny because Mary does something during the episode. Once she realizes that she cannot make a deal with anybody, she just starts eating all their food. So the aftermath of Star, Kamilla pulls Mary aside and Mary pitches her idea to her. She says, keep me until you can vote out Joe and Eva. I can be a number for you, which makes sense. And I'm so shocked that Kamilla was interested. She sounded interested. Mary gave the same pitch to Kyle. She also gave the same pitch to Shaheen, Mitch. None of them took her up on it, even though they talked to her about it and let her think that something was going to happen. They were not willing to go away from the strong five or the strong six. Mitch is on the bottom of that because we have Joe and Eva. You just have to say the name. Joe and Eva, Shaheen. Mitch is on the bottom. Kyle and Kamilla are a team that nobody knows about. And I will say one thing. When they are doing their confessionals, Mitch is always he's giving excuses to the viewer as to why he cannot do anything yet. And he seems like he is actually out there on vacation. For instance, they have a scene where Kyle is in a confessional first. He talks to the viewer about he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He wants to win this money for his family, the standard Survivor stuff. We have a separate scene with Shaheen doing the same thing. Yet they still have not agreed to make a move against Eva and Joe. And anybody who sits next to Joe at this point is probably not going to win the money. Not that I don't want Joe to win the money. Joe, I'm going to give it to Joe. Joe is a really good player as far as his strength, of course. He has won 3 immunity challenges in a row. He also has developed a strong relationship with different members of the tribe. So I will give Joe that. But what I do not like about Joe, I feel this integrity thing that he's trying to sell to the viewer. I think some of it might be fake. Just the way that he and Eva speak to people when they're on the bottom and there's no chance of them being able to maneuver something where they don't go home that week. And they actually did the way they treated Mary. I don't like that. I don't think you treat people. The way you treat people, to me, reflects whatever your integrity is, for positive or negative. And I don't like the way Joe conducts himself. So Mitch expressed that he would like to go for Joe. Joe's too good. Anybody that sits next to him is probably not going to win. And I was yelling at Mitch, why didn't you do something last week if you thought that? Why didn't you do it last week if you thought that? As you come in, just click the like button. Thank you so much. We're doing a live Survivor. It turned into a rant rather than a recap. And this is episode 11 for season 48. And it's Coconut Etiquette. So they had they had the opportunity to do a journey. And of course, everybody wanted to go. Mary wanted to go because she desperately needed. The rest of the tribe wanted to go because they didn't want Mary to win any type of advantage that would give her any chance. So poor Mary, they decided to go to rocks if they couldn't decide, which they couldn't decide. So they went to rocks. Eva, of course, drew the purple rock, and she got a chance to go on the journey. And she said, I already got 2 advantages, so it doesn't even matter if I lose my vote. She didn't lose her vote on the journey. Not that I wanted her to lose her vote, but it's starting to look like a setup. I don't know what would have to go into it for Survivor to be able to kind of choose the final three or the winners that they want, but it certainly is looking uneventful at this point. Not to take anything away from any of them, but it just and I was enjoying the season when it first started. Mary is the last of her tribe. Mary is the last of the Vula tribe, and I have to give it up to Mary. I didn't love Mary at first because she didn't want to work with Say, and I didn't understand why she didn't want to work with Say, because Say didn't have any type of reputation at that point. Thank you. 3 in the chat and 4 likes. Thank you so much, Mama Bees. I appreciate that. So they actually have a puzzle type challenge, which I'm happy about because the strength challenges are just really for Joe. But with a puzzle type challenge, anyone has a chance to win that. So during that challenge, Kamilla was leading. Kyle was leading for a little bit. Soheen kept dropping everything. Kamilla was leading. Joe was right next to her. And you have to spell out a word. It's in the thumbnail. The word was unforgettable. The word that Joe ended up spelling out. And he told Joe, Jeff, I got it. Got fun betrayal. This is what that man put up there. Got fun betrayal. He got that out of unforgettable letters that you were supposed to unscramble and put up there. So that was kind of ridiculous. It was funny. Kyle had a hard time too. And he knew it was unforgettable. He said unforgettable, but he had it misspelled. So that was why Kyle ended up losing. They ended up getting a reward of sushi. I don't know how sushi would, I love sushi, but I don't know if I would want to eat sushi in the heat and after being out on the island. So Kamilla says she wants to take someone who doesn't get to eat a lot, which is Mitch. And then she didn't want to out Kyle as being a close partner to her. She picked Eva. Eva has been on every single reward challenge. I don't want to keep harping on Eva, but Eva is going to be the only survivor to actually gain weight on the island. She has eaten every week. She's on every reward challenge. She stuffs her face, the dirty fingernails and everything. There we go again. There we go again. So when they come back from the reward, they're all sitting around talking about what they're going to do. Mary at this point has nothing else to do but just wreak havoc. So Mary said, Joe, I just want you to know I'm going to write your name down. And Joe went kind of nuts. He started acting like David. Joe got all paranoid. He ended up pulling everybody aside separately. And Soheen had a really real moment that I love. Soheen said, this is Survivor. Welcome to Survivor. I've had my name written down twice, and I didn't have anything or anybody to save me because Eva has an idol that she said she would use on herself or Joe. And Soheen said, you're just going to have to deal with it. He said this in confessional. I don't think he said all that to Joe, but I understood what he was talking about. I agreed with him because I don't know why Joe feels like he can target everybody down to telling them when they're going home and in the order, and there's nothing they can do about it. Yet not one person who is being targeted by everybody can write his name down. So I was glad that Mary did that. Another thing she did was she went through and started eating up all their coconut because she knew she was going home. When she did that earlier. She did that before Kamilla won the challenge. And honestly, that might be the reason why Kamilla didn't take her on the challenge. I think she alluded to that because Mary started making mischief. And another thing that was really sad, you get picked for the team or you don't. You get picked for the challenge or you don't. But Mary, she just said it's so hard being on the bottom, so hard being targeted. Every time she finds someone that she's in an alliance with, starting out with Steph, going to Kevin, every single person, David, they get voted out. And she said, you always think you can pull yourself back up, but you reach a point where it's just too much. And she started crying. And nobody comforted her. Nobody said, oh, Mary, nothing. They just looked at her. So I felt kind of sorry for Mary. So we get to the Kamilla when they get back to the camp, Kamilla puts her immunity necklace on. They have a tribal that night. This is a really short review, everybody, because I started out with a rant. I'm sorry about that. So they end up going to the tribal. They have the jurors come in. David is still mean mugging everybody. He's still mad. David's doing a lot. Star is just herself. She looks at everybody. She's, Star. She's happy to be there. So she sit down. They start talking what it's like when you know you're the one to go. They do that Survivor thing. It's repetitive. I'm sorry that the review is just not even a review. It's just kind of like a rewind the tape from last week. They're going down the line. They know who they're going to vote for. One vote for Joe, which was Mary. Everybody else in order voted for Mary. Mary is the next person voted out and the member of the jury. So as he snuffs Mary's torch, the funny thing was David stands up. The jury doesn't they can make faces and stuff, but they're not supposed to clap or stand up or anything like that. So David stands up like he's at a military funeral. He's looking so serious. And the funny thing was, Seth doing this, and then Star is covering her mouth, trying not to laugh. Kamilla is outwardly, she's actually laughing. So that part was pretty funny. So that was it, y'all. Survivor didn't give much this week. It really didn't. I don't know how many more. They have to have at least 3 more left because they have 6 people left. So 7, they voted out Mary. They have 6 people left. I think they go down to 4. And then when they vote that last person out, they'll do either a final 3 or 2. So everybody I'm sorry it wasn't better, but that is what we had. They didn't do a lot. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that stood out. Not really. I'm going to be interested. I'm going to watch the rest of the episodes, of course. And if not, do short recaps, then I will do at least a rant if there's anything else to rant about. It's kind of a little boring at this point. So I am going to finish the season, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with the reunion. Because I don't want to see if they're going to have any bitter jurors. I nominate David. I think he's going to be a bitter juror. So we will see what happens with that. Oh, the T-shirt today. This is the Dirty Diana era Michael Jackson. If you couldn't recognize him, that is who that is. So that's all I have for Survivor. I'm putting together topics, and I actually I won't go online anymore today, but tomorrow I'll put up in advance. It's going to be a scheduled live. Going to be my list of topics for Saturday, and I'll probably get a good half hour out of those. And then if there's anything Bravo related, I will have that in a separate video, and I might test that out as a pre-record and a premiere where I could be down in the chat. So I appreciate everyone that stopped by Sandra P's Gen Extra for this Survivor. I call it a rant because I can't fairly call it a review, even though we just gave this little information about the reward challenge, the immunity challenge. I was happy that Kamilla won this week. Joe really showed his true colors, the way he was talking to people after 1 loss and 1 vote. And he's pretty much a shoo-in, either himself or Eva, unless Kyle is really smart. I forgot to mention a part I left out. Kyle actually pulled Kamilla aside. She is his closest ally, even though he's close with Joe. He let her know that he is an attorney. She was like, no way. She said, I knew there was a lawyer on here and I was wondering who it was. And then she told in a confessional, she said, I don't even really care about that. She trusts Kyle. He trusts her. And she told him she didn't want a final 3 that didn't have one of them in it. And I'm thinking, Kamilla, I'd like a final 3 with both of you in it and sit next to Joe and see what happens. Because they both have Kamilla might not have the best case to win because she's only won 1 immunity challenge. But she has been amazing in her social game. She's flown under the radar. She works hard at camp. She doesn't seem to be problematic at camp. So I think those will be my final 3. It'll be either Joe, Eva, and Kyle, or Joe, Kyle, and Kamilla, if something happens with Eva. Another thing that happened is Eva told them, I still have an idol, and I'm letting everybody know I'm going to play it next week. So she said that and still didn't get any votes. So that's how fixed it kind of looks. That you can say, I have an idol, I'm going to play it next week and not get any votes and get sent on a journey. So that's it. That is episode Coconut Etiquette, episode 11 of season 48. Thank you for stopping by Sandra P's Gen Extra for the live. I appreciate all my moderators that came in. Mama Bees, thank you so much. Sharon Gobble. And anyone in the bushes, I appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Friday, the rest of your weekend. I'll probably speak to everyone tomorrow as well. And I will see you in the YouTube streets. Thank you. Bye.